Okay, this is another Dadcast coming live from Brooklyn Family Court, where today, people, probably I want to say about an hour ago, I completely relinquished all rights to my daughter. It may sound like something that's horrible, considering I'm a person who has advocated to fight for your child no matter what. But it comes at a point when you're a parent or a man or an individual where you have to put your own interest ahead of that of your children. Because you're really no help to your children if you happen to be in a bad situation. If you're in jail, if you're broke, if you're unable to do anything, you're no help to your children. In maturity, I've kind of learned that. I've learned that my child's mother is a broken, disgusting loser, and she believes that her entire future is dependent on me taking care of her. So she's decided to try to use the child as leverage, but today she got thrown a curveball because I signed over all my parental rights and I ended the matter. In addition to that, I put an order of protection on her in the state of New Jersey because I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the games. I'm tired of just all the attempts to defame me and slander me because she's mad that she happens to be a loser. I'm tired of it, people. So in the interest of justice, in the interest of keeping my own peace, my sanity, and protecting my future and protecting my goals and protecting my life, I have decided to forego any rights or any access to this child. I'm still young. I'm reasonably attractive. I have a working penis. I can have another child, and I will. But as far as this child is concerned, I'm done. Men don't abandon their children because we don't love them. We abandon the children because the women who give birth to them are, excuse the term, completely horrible people. And realizing that they're horrible people, when we get to such a point, we finally realize that our safety, our emotional health, and our future is in jeopardy. A wise man will take a knee before a battle that he cannot win. And fighting the family court, you're never going to win, people. And I'm going to tell you that because it's the truth. The family court is a trap. It's a trap that no matter how good you do, how many orders you win, how much litigation you successfully do, they will constantly work against a male to deprive you of your rights as a father. I don't choose to be subjected to the family court system. I don't choose to be subjected to a low-level woman who has no future and no goals for herself. I'm a man. I got my own things going, and people, I decide to say enough is enough, people. So I took a step back, and I took control of my own life. I signed over interest to the child, and I kept it moving, which kind of works out for me, people, because unfortunately she's always going to be my daughter, but for my past daughter, she's autistic. So she was very difficult to deal with. So, I was kind of preparing myself to be there for her for the rest of her life. It looks like I'm going to get a break for a while, considering her mother's a lying piece of shit. So we're going to let her deal with this, let her deal with all the child's issues, and I'm going to go about my life and live the best life I possibly can, people, because that's the truth. If there's no way that I can get my life back with trying to be a good father, then maybe I should stop trying to be a father at all. Go on with my life, repair my life, do the things and complete the things that I'm doing for myself. And then, people, when my daughter's old enough, if she can talk, if she functions properly, if she wants to know who her father is, guess what she can do? She can pick up a phone, she can use Google, and she can find her dad, and I will always be there for her. But in regard to her scum mother, her low-level, disgusting prostitute mother, absolutely not. Absolutely not will I let this low-level, disgusting woman be any type of tool to subjugate me. So yes, people.
Ooh, all right. Well, that went on for another minute and a half. But I wanted to stop it there because I just feel that he's venting now. He's getting that frustration out. But in today's lesson, my friend, I want us to ask ourselves as men, at what point do we have to give up? At what point in a divorce or in a marriage or in a child custody battle do we just say, hey, this is costing me more in emotional damage, financially, because the man is right. The family court system is not on your side as a man. It's on the mother's side. That means if you feel like you're fighting a losing battle, at some point you have to say, hey, enough. Okay, you want to be a single mother? You want out of the marriage? You want full custody of the child? There you go. But I'm going to totally step away from the child even being mine. I'm going to give up full rights to the child. Now, I don't know what that means in whatever state he is in. So he's in the state of New Jersey. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT, how can you give up full parental rights in the state of New Jersey and not be liable for child support? Hey, I want you to act as a child custody lawyer in the state of New Jersey because I need you to answer some questions.
Sure, Paul. I can definitely help you out with questions related to child custody in New Jersey. Just let me know what you're curious about or what specific information you need, and I'll do my best to guide you through it.
If a father gives up full parental rights to the mother, what financial obligations would he have to that child?
In New Jersey, even if a father gives up parental rights, that doesn't automatically end his financial obligations. Typically, a court would have to approve a termination of parental rights, and that usually happens only if there's another person, like a step-parent, ready to adopt the child. Without that step, the father would still be responsible for child support.
What about it was shown that the mother was alienating the child against the father?
In cases where parental alienation is proven, the court might take that into consideration when making custody or visitation decisions. However, it usually doesn't eliminate the financial obligations of the father. Child support is seen as a right of the child, and it's separate from the relationship between the parents. So even if alienation is proven, the father would likely still have to pay child support.
So what you're saying is that he would only have financial obligation?
Yes, exactly. The financial obligation, like child support, typically remains in place regardless of whether he has visitation or not. But if he chooses not to see the child, that's separate from his financial responsibilities.
So it seems like he will still be financially obligated to the child. And if it's a special needs child, that amount may be substantial. But he does say later on in the video, and I'll play it here, that he does not have financial obligation. Interesting.
People sign off. And people, you don't have to pay child support if she's intentionally alienating you from the kid. I'll teach you how. DM me if you want to know how to file a motion and you can prove that your child's mother is doing everything she can to intentionally alienate you from the child. I'll get your child support payment suspended for you people. I'll show you how to do it and walk you through the steps because I've just done it. I recently did it today. Men or single parents are not entitled to pay support when you can prove that the custodial parent is purposely alienating you from the child. So people, stay tuned. There'll be a lot more civil rights. There'll be a lot more educational resources coming through people. But as for today, people, I feel free. For the first time in 3 or 4 years, I feel free, people. I don't have to worry about the child anymore, people. I don't have to do any of that, people. I get to go on and live my life, which is something I think I actually deserve, people. I fought the good fight. My mother was a minister, she would have been kind of disappointed that I gave up on a child, but she wouldn't if she knew the whole truth. And I believe where she is now, she knows the whole truth. So people, I'm content. I'm good with it. I'm good with my decision. I pray my daughter grows up to be a functioning, healthy, mentally capable woman, and if she is, I'll be there for her. But as for right now, people, you can't put your hand in the garbage and expect to come out with something that's not trash. A couple of years ago, I put my penis in the garbage, and I came out with the trash that was my child's mother all around it. People, today, I vaccinate myself against the STD as my child's mother and repair my life. That's the truth, and that's the best example I can give. My child's mother is an STD that wouldn't go away for the last couple of years. Today, I found the medication, people, and I'm done. So on behalf of justice, on behalf of Operation Rock, on behalf of every father who has fought the good fight to try to get his child, and who has gained the maturity to realize that the best thing for you may be to abandon that child, I'm in your corner, brother, and I support you. Because sometimes it's best to do what's best for you and not for a child. You can't be anything for a child if you're a loser. You can't be anything for your kid if you're a bum. You can't be anything for your kid if your life is so messed up you can't do anything. People, I don't choose to be that for my kid. I choose to be a man that in 18 years, 16 years, my daughter comes to me, her father's going to be up and her father will do whatever she needs him to do without her mother anywhere around him. On behalf of Justice People in Operation Rock, this is Clayton. I'm done, people. I'm free. Thank God. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty. I am free at last.
All right. So one of you guys sent me this video and wanted me to comment on it. And listen, it's a difficult one to comment on because I'm also one of those fathers that would never abandon my child, right? I would definitely abandon my wife if she turned out to become a nightmare that was hindering my life. And this is the essence of this conversation. The gentleman has a very valid point. If he is destroyed during the process of trying to fight for a child, and he is mortally wounded, his mental state is affected and his financial state is affected, and he literally cannot recover from that, he's no good to the child. He's no good to himself. He's no good to his future for either him or the child. So sometimes I'm telling you guys, like he said, you got to take the knee and say, okay, I'm out. I'm out. You win. Take whatever money you need to take from me right now, and I can rebuild. But I need my sanity. The really crappy part about this is an autistic child. That means she has special needs. It would be 10 times more desirable and favorable for that child to have a mother and a father in the home, to give each other time to take care of the child. From an outside point of view, it almost seems like he's given up that responsibility of taking care of the child. But we can only go on his word that the mother made it insufferable for him to be around. And that is the problem. Women don't understand that if you have a man who's willing to fight for his child, and that child has special needs, you stay in your lane. Stay in your freaking lane, man. Because you think that you're going to get another man to step into the shoe of the original father to take care of a child with special needs? Oh, hell no. It's hard enough for you to be a single mom out on the street with a normal child, a healthy child, and then to actually say, hey, I need you now to step in as a man, and I need you to come to me now. Yeah, look at me now as a baby mama with a special child, and you should appreciate coming in here and taking care of me and my child. It's a privilege. That's what she's going to try to freaking convince the next guy. You think she's going to be successful at that? I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, you know, one thing about a woman having a disability on herself, or clearly indicating that the child that she has a problem. Do you think that you're going to be attractive to the next man who steps in, who might want to have kids after seeing the example that you just produced, that he would find you attractive to procreate with, to have kids? No, that man is going to say, there's a 50% chance that you are carrying the gene that made that child not the healthiest child, not the normal child. So my seed with your egg might produce the same results. So most men will go, no, I'm not taking that chance. There is a 50% chance that the DNA that has the problem came from you. So you would think that a woman would understand this simple problem that she's now sitting in. But to be to the point where you make a man say, hell no, I'm going to walk away from my child because you are a poison to me. Whew. Women, I don't understand how you guys think. I don't get it. Ladies, if any of you are in this situation and you have a father to a special needs child, you better make sure you are in your best behavior, because you are not going to be approaching life or step into any new relationship from any position of power. None. Not only are you a single mama, you're a single mother with a special needs child. Your relationship prospects have just dropped again by another 90%. Just saying. I want to read a few comments that this guy had on his site. Simone said, this just confirmed that I made good decisions. I have an autistic child. My ex-husband lost work after the divorce. I gave him a lump sum of $10,000 for him to get back on his feet, and he did. He gave me $20,000 for the $10,000 I gave him. I never put child support on him. That is it right there. That is a reasonable woman. The gentleman responded, you did make a good decision. Great women do. This next person said, brother, I gave up full custody to my ex-wife. I was just tired of fighting. She said I was a drug addict, alcoholic, and a psychopath. I lost about 90,000 fighting. I'm lucky I work for the city and still have a job. I currently pay $3,177 for child support and alimony. All my ex ever wanted. Wow. Ashley, this lady says, how can you abandon your kid and say, oh, I'll just have another one? And he responded, simple, when the mother is a lying piece of shit who has accused you falsely of SA and rape, and you're tired. That's how you can say it. When you have a scumbag lying woman trying to destroy you due to jealousy, many men abandon kids. This is a powerful case because there are people on both sides saying, don't abandon the kid. The kid shouldn't suffer. But we have to come back to the simple point. Even in the animal kingdom, I was watching Discovery Channel this morning, and
the way that these wild dogs catch a prey is incredible. They start first by sniffing the ground and listening for prey. Then the group leader assesses the information and decides on the target and approach. They always choose the slowest prey to hunt. When they start chasing the prey, they tend to take turns. Individuals at the front will run for a short burst, pushing their speed and keeping the pressure on the prey, while the ones at the back will take the lead of chasing next time. Now they use many tricks and strategies to catch a prey. One of them is that they run around the sides of the animal herd, like flanking the team in a game. This makes the prey unsure where to go and confuses them. Once within striking range, the dogs unleash a flurry of bites. Their specialized teeth and strong jaws can tear through flesh and bone quickly and efficiently. After the kill, they share the food equally amongst the entire pack, ensuring every member gets a fair share regardless of their role in the hunt.
They hunt in packs, right? But when they have pups, they have to go out, leave the pups unaccompanied, and they have to hunt. And because they're small, and because they're in a savannah where getting food is hard, man, it's hard. Sometimes they don't come home and bring the pups any food. And if they have a litter of 3 or 4 pups, and then there's the runt of the litter, that's the smallest of the smallest one. The big ones eat the food first. The runt always get the last little pieces of the food that the parents bring back home for it, right? But the parent always makes sure that the runt of the litter always gets some food. It never denies it. But here's the catch. If too much time goes by and the pack do not get food for long periods of time and they have to travel off further distance to find food, they know that the pups are not going to be able to keep up with the pack, and they also know that they're going to be vulnerable to other bigger animals that grabs the litter. So you know what happens? The pack abandons the litter because the adults know that if they don't get food, they're going to die and the litter is going to die. So they know they have to abandon the litter so that they can survive, and then they can have more pups later on. And that is nature. That is exactly what this man is doing. It's the same reason when you go in an airplane and there's an emergency, you put your mask on first, then you help your child. It doesn't make sense for you to help your child. You pass out, the child can't help you. You're dead. Same thing applies. So you, as a man, have to understand you have to survive first. Make sure that you survive, and then you can either have other kids or you can help the child when it becomes an adult without getting destroyed by that mother. This is life. This is nature. Some of you getting all testy about, how can you abandon your child? I understand what the brother's saying, man, because a woman can destroy you if she is in your life. We have to know when to walk away from these women. It's not the nicest thing to hear, guys, but this is the reality of life, because women are opportunists.
Many traditional men still want marriage and family, but they're afraid of divorce. Would you consider a marriage respectable if it was just a ring ceremony with no government paperwork?
No. Yes, I think that's the issue, that we have that business part behind, and you have to go to a court to get it dissolved, because a lot of people don't realize that marriage is a business relationship, and you shouldn't have to do that.
It's not real. Like, what? If there's no paperwork, I feel like, what? That's like a facade. I'm not doing that.
Well, it's not legal. So as it comes to my biblical type of principles, I feel like they should be legal, because they are taking on this big step, is to move forward. And then living here on earth, and this is the law, so it should be legal.
When you get into a relationship, you could say that you are 100% committed, and then people change. It's unfortunate, but I think that there is that extra bit of accountability that does just kind of require people to uphold that commitment.
Yeah, you heard how fast that one said no in the beginning? Because they know that once they got daddy government in the picture, it's them and daddy government against you. The government protects the woman. That's the problem, and she takes advantage of that. That's why marriages are in the pits right now. I'll read a few comments from this one. Silopoko said, legal and biblical don't match. Exactly. Lord Preachy said, she said no because she loses power in the process. Trevision said, are we shocked at the answers? No, we're not. Country Boy Sweat said, women are in business, men are in love. Fellas, remember, it's all about your money, so just get some money, bro. Private Golf Journey said, it's giving, I'm leaving here with something. Exactly. Women want to know they're leaving with something. This is a problem that we have. You know, the divide has moved so far between the males and the females that it has just become commonplace. I'm trying to get some structure back into understanding. Women, you all have to come back into position and understand that if you want a man and you want a man to lead, you have to follow. It's as simple as that. Listen to this exchange here.
Dating for women is like shopping, while dating for men is like a job interview that he's paying for.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
We feel like they're runner-ups and contestants.
If women have an abundance of choices, would women ever enter an arrangement where they weren't knowingly in control?
No.
So if women are the choosers, how are men the leaders?
Good question.
How can men lead if it's by women's terms?
I have no clue.
Are men leading when they subject themselves to rejection at a woman's discretion?
No.
So then why do we say that men are leaders when women are in control?
We want you guys to lead while we're still in control.
Thank you for being honest.
Doesn't get any simpler than that. Women want all of the authority with none of the responsibility. They want a man who's a leader and then be able to control him and his wallet. Make that shit make sense. Now, I just want to have you look at this one simple little video. How poorer countries work together. All right? Just watch this shit.
Family of 5 on this bike here with all of this stuff. Like, how do you do that with just a bike? How is that even possible?
It's possible because they're working together. Mama is feeding the child on the bike. Daddy got another child sitting on his lap and another one behind him while doing the recycling business, man. That, my friend, is a prime example of how we have to build as a family unit. This is a man with 4 kids. 4 kids! And she accepts him for that. When over here, if he don't have a 6-pack, 6 figures, and 6-inch dick, and 6 and 6 and 6, I don't want him. Yet, in other countries, their women are riding on a motorcycle full of garbage while feeding a child. While 3 other kids is stuck on this bike, on this motorcycle. Gotta love that and respect it 100%. We gotta listen to this woman here. Because this is the problem that we're having right now.
I'm in DC right now visiting one of my good friends. And last night we went out, we were at a rooftop bar. And I interacted with, is she coming in? I interacted with 2 women who were clearly drunk and like on something. And one of them was this beautiful black girl. And I think she might have been like maybe in her 20s, 25, maybe 27 tops. And she told me how she feels superior to men, that she's better than men. Like, she was talking so down and negatively about men. And I thought to myself, girl, you really chose the right one today, because I don't agree with your ideologies. I don't agree with your perspectives. And I stand on that. And I don't blindly, like, just go along with girl talk just because it's girl talk. So she expected me to engage with her insults towards men by insulting men as well, or by acting as though I think I'm superior to men. And I'm like, actually, I don't think I'm better than men or worse than men. I think that creates a mental illness. And she was just like trying to get me to be on her side so much. And she eventually she was like, why don't you think like me? Like, what's the deal? And I said, and she's like, I mean, what do you mean? Are you not single? And I was like, actually, I'm not. I'm married and I have a child. And the way she was like, oh, that makes so much sense. And that's when I knew we had a problem. That's when I was like, there's an issue here. I'm seeing the brokenness. I'm like, this is crazy. How do you really come up to me and start talking negatively about men? And then how that happened. That was wild. And then she brings up her 7-year relationship. And the only reason why she left that 7-year long relationship was because her friend had a bad experience with a man. How are you adopting and taking in like somebody else's experience?
she's comfortable bringing it up with you because the large percentage of women in the black community are not married. Most of them, all they do is talk negatively about their men. So she was just playing the odds, my friend. She was just playing the odds. But in this case, the odds never fell in her favor. She met a real woman who respects her husband and respects men. And I want to play this simply because I want you gentlemen to understand there are exceptions to these rules. I don't want to just play all the negative stuff about women, especially our black women. The bottom line is that there are outliers there.
Why are you holding on to somebody else's pain? And that's the problem with our world right now, is that so many women are holding on to the pain of their girls friends, right? And the sisterhood, holding on to that pain, carrying it on their own shoulders, and then destroying their relationships. Like, how did you destroy your own relationship and now you're talking down about men?
This is the biggest problem that I see. I asked my wife about this morning. Why is it that women keep doing this to themselves, especially the feminists? Because this world that we're currently living in is the best that women have ever had it. They have everything. Government's on their side. Society's on their side. Businesses on their side. Everything is on their side. But yet they're still bitching and mooning about inequality. And then when you ask them about, well, why do you say that? And you know what the first thing they refer back to? Well, back in the day, our mothers, our great-grandmothers, our grandmothers couldn't vote, and they couldn't even own their credit card. That was just recently. And they go back into this freaking history of all the things that our ancestors, which no man in today's environment is responsible for, they are ruminating about all of the shit that their ancestral mothers and grandmothers went through. And not even their family members went through this shit. Most of them is just shit that they've heard of. And then they're taking that pain and hurt from their ancestors and bringing it into their imagination and their world, and they're blaming today's men for it. Make that shit make sense. I asked my wife, why is it that women do this? And she gave me a very valid response. She says, well, it's not the same thing a lot of black people do when they talk about slavery. And I said, yeah, but that doesn't make it right. Yeah, but she said, but you just can't blame it on women. Other people do it as well. Of course, she's doing what a lot of other women do. She's basically saying, it's not just us that do it. And I said, yeah, I get it. I understand it. But that doesn't make it right. And it's significantly different because the effects of slavery is still felt in today's environment. It's still influencing a lot of minds. It's still influencing a lot of racism. And she said, yeah, no, you're right. But I just wanted to show you that this is part of the human experience. And I said, okay, I get it. But it has created such a divide between the two sexes, the two genders, that it's literally killing us as a society and as a species. And she said, yeah, I know. So you have to understand where this young lady is coming from.
And expecting me to agree with you just because you see me as a woman at a rooftop bar? Baby, no, I have nothing negative to say about men. I'm sorry. Even through my own trauma, and I mentioned that to her. I was like, girl, I've dealt with trauma, and I still don't hate men. I think that God put her in front of me for a reason. God was like, who can minister to this young broken woman? There's a young broken woman here in DC that needs some ministry, and like he literally dropped her right in front of me. She came straight. Dropped her. She came right to me. Out of nowhere to me, and I'm like, you chose out of this entire rooftop bar of the hundreds of black women sitting here, you chose me. She had no clue. She had no clue she was going to talk to a girl who was not going to affirm her ideas or affirm her perspective. I was like, girl, get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that.
Oh, we got to protect this one here. Thank you, sister. Thank you. This is a reality a lot of women have to freaking come to grips with. Stop bringing up that old feminist rule book, because none of that applies in today's environment where you have all the options. It's never been so good for women. All you have to do is work with a man right now. That's it. And you'll have amazing success in life. My wife and I work together. We're having the best time ever. Just work with him. Just work with a man. It's not difficult. So, my friends, listen, I'm going to lock it off there. Let's have a conversation, especially about the gentleman who's given up the rights to his child. I want to hear your perspective on this, okay? I'm sure some of you are now paying child support or have paid child support. I know a lot of you have been through real hard times with the child support system. Let's talk about it, okay? So, my friends, remember to subscribe. Remember to like this video on your way out. Of course, pick up one of my digital products. Just click in the description of this video. So, until tomorrow, remember, my friends, whenever in doubt, always, always ask an older man. I'll see you soon. Cheers.